The Gaffer, unbeaten run continued at Newport. Sort of in the wider picture, how do you see that point?
When it was interesting, we all felt the same. Players, staff, we felt as though we didn't have as much control in the game. But then actually when you watch it back, that was the case in terms of possession. We actually had the big moments. We was one pass or one poor decision or one bad shot away from scoring lots of goals. So although we didn't have as much control as we had in previous games, we had bigger moments, but we didn't execute them well enough for various reasons. So on one hand, it was pleasing. There was more moments that we actually were scoring a goal, and it was little things like on the halfway line or a pass here or a pass there that leads to a goal or leads to a goal scoring opportunity. So it wasn't necessarily goal mouth action, but there was little bits. And then moments are big moments, but actually we had more of them. So looking back, I go, we had more big moments, but actually less control. Now we've got to get a bit of both. So yeah, the good thing was, it wasn't vintage us. I think we reduced our standards slightly towards Newport standards, or style of football I should say, but we remained unbeaten, and that's important.
And then on Tuesday night we had a County Cup game away at Spalding, a chance for you to put some of the fringe players, if you like, and get some minutes in the legs. How did you see that one?
Yeah, I won't call them fringe players, I'd call them first team squad members, and some young lads who did ever so well. It's always difficult for a number of reasons, them kind of games. Not so much attitude or anything like that, because I haven't seen one bad attitude since I've been here. But you tend to come up against players that do unorthodox things, both with the ball and out of possession, why they stood here, kind of thing. It's the first time that some players have had a go at asking them to play how we want them to play, so they'll make mistakes. There were definitely mistakes. It wasn't a lack of effort, but you know, you learn who's picked up what. What I would say is they've had longer to learn than one hour before we play MK Dons. So there's pros and cons to it. There's some that had picked up some stuff. There's some that had picked up not a lot. There's some that had picked up lots of things, but things didn't quite work. So it's always that bitty, and you've got to sort of see who's progressing nicely, who needs lots more work, and who didn't quite get it. So that was the sort of outcome of the night, really.
And like you touched on there, some of the academy lads got some minutes as well. It'd be good for you to see them in a sort of different light and a different sort of surrounding. Yeah. Look,
the young kids. Obviously, I watched them against Forest, and they did well. Certainly out of possession, didn't have much of the ball. The other night it was different. They had some of the ball. They got both sides of the game, really. So yeah, you see all these different little bits, and it's all part of this. Do they understand this bit, or do they not understand this bit? And there's lots of them questions, and that's the same for the pros. It's no different. They're just on a different part of their journey generally. So look, we were. I was pleased with the young lads' contribution, but there's plenty of work to do there as well. So we're not getting carried away with any of the young players, and we're not getting carried away with any of the pros either. That's either those who played Tuesday night or those who played last Saturday.
And looking at Harrogate now this Saturday, another side, similar league position. They're coming in off the back of a win against Notts County. What sort of task do you expect this Saturday?
Well, you know that Simon's teams are going to be well organised, disciplined, good setup. They're going to play a certain way. It's going to be hard to break down. But then you also know that the league table doesn't lie, and we know if we play as well as we did against Crewe at home, then we'll give anyone a game. You know, Crewe could have gone second that day. You know, and Harrogate aren't in that position. So we know that if we play how we want to play and do what we want to do with the football, then we'll give anyone a game, and that's got to be the case at Blundell Park and away from home. So we're at home this week, so we've got to continue to build on what the very sort of shallow and narrow foundations that we've built before we carry on and get better.
And how's the squad looking going into Saturday and what is to be a busy period?
Yeah, look, we're going to need everyone. Simple as that. One of the good things about Tuesday night is that lads got, quite a few minutes, if not the full 90 in their legs, ready for a busy period where we're going to need probably everyone. There's no new fresh injuries or anything like that, so we'll carry on with what we've got.
And we're getting to the halfway mark of the season now. How do you sort of see it in terms of, do you split the season into the two halves and the second half is more of a fresh start?
I wouldn't normally. It'd be far less than half a season, that's for sure, but I've only been here for 3 and a bit weeks, so we'll split the half season into smaller chunks, and then we'll try and build on them sort of tangible markers, not just points, but performance and underlying metrics that hopefully will show us going in the right direction, and hopefully that will reflect in points. It doesn't always, but it does in the end. So we've got to make sure that them performances, like we've had generally, do lead to points, and we continue to build and grow.
And obviously since you've come in, it's been pretty full on with games and stuff. Now this period, 4 games in 9 days. How do you find that as a manager? It must be difficult to sort of negotiate.
Yeah, it is with, but it's all in the preparation. So we did the preparation on Harrogate on the week. We've just spent all morning doing Mansfield, so we're already doing the Mansfield game. We'll do the Salford game straight after the Harrogate game, so we're ahead, and then we'll see where we get to with Walsall. So we've got to be really clear in what we tell the players, really clear in our preparations, and when time's limited, you've got to make sure that time is not a deciding factor for a lack of preparation. And we've already had an hour and a half this morning on Mansfield, and we'll have another hour and a half tomorrow afternoon. Spend the rest of this afternoon on Harrogate and substitutions and changes and stuff like that, set pieces, before we tell the players more on tomorrow morning in training. So it's just about time management more than anything else.
And finally, should he start on Saturday, Harry Clifford will make his 250th appearance for the club. It's a special marker for a player like that, isn't it?
250. It's good going, that, isn't it?
Not bad.
Good going, that, I have to say. Well, it's a fantastic milestone for him if he gets there. Well, he will get there at some point. And all credit to him. He's been good since I've been here. He trains properly every day. He wants to get better. Good personality. Can't speak highly enough of him, really. He deserves the recognition.